Joining us today. There have been some pretty tense moments in both Kenner and Metairie today in a story that is still unfolding at this hour. More than a dozen law enforcement officers have been taken to the hospital following a traffic stop in Kenner this morning. There are some state troopers and some federal agents involved. They were taken to East Jefferson after a substance police originally thought was cocaine was found in an 18-wheeler. That's when the officers knew something was wrong. We have team coverage on this story with Katie Moore out at Troop B in Kenner and Jill Hazu at East Jefferson Hospital in Metairie. We begin with Katie at Troop B. And Katie, what do we know so far?
Well, Eric, what we do know is that they are still continuing to test what has now been described as a white powdery substance here at State Police Troop B headquarters just off of Williams Blvd in Kenner. And just moments ago, a man was taken from one of the buildings that's next door to State Police Troop B on a stretcher into the ambulance that you can see there. They were talking about hydration. Whether or not this is related to the testing of that white powdery substance is still unknown. And this all started after a traffic stop of an 18-wheeler on I-10 this morning. State Police pulled over an 18-wheeler just after 7 a.m. It has CG Transport written on the side of it, and whether or not that company is involved in the investigation here is still unknown at this hour. State Police and a multi-agency task force found suspected drugs inside boxes of limes once they searched that 18-wheeler. When at least 18 officers, some state police, some DEA, and some Jefferson Parish Sheriff's narcotics officers started testing that suspicious package for cocaine, they started getting nauseous and were all taken to East Jefferson General Hospital's emergency room.
They took the suspected packaging back over here to Louisiana State Police Headquarters, Troop B. They took one of the packages, brought it inside, and began field testing. This is something that's customarily done by trained agents who know what to do when they find a particular substance, to test it to see if, in fact, it is test positive for the drugs that they believe it is. In this particular situation, while in the process of conducting a field test, a number of the agents in and around the packaging immediately became feeling ill, and they were transported to East Jefferson General Hospital, where they are currently now at East Jefferson in the decon area that's been set up in the parking lot of the hospital.
Now we're back live here in Kenner at State Police Troop B headquarters, and you're taking a look from up above where you can see those hazmat crews who have started to do the work of trying to get whatever substance that is out of the cargo that was within that 18-wheeler that was pulled over this morning. Now again, East Jefferson General Hospital's emergency room is still closed at this hour. The rest of the hospital remains open, but State Police Troop B, is still closed to civilians as they try and figure out what this substance is. According to the DEA earlier here today, he said that some of that substance, a small part of it, tested positive for cocaine. What the rest of that substance is, at least a kilo that was tested, they still don't know. And they say that they're using extreme caution until they're able to determine exactly what that substance is. So we still have many major arteries around here that are open to the public. Williams Blvd traffic is moving smoothly. I-10 traffic is moving smoothly as well. They do have an area cordoned off here around Kenner and around State Police Troop B as they try and get this substance, whatever it is, contained and out of that 18-wheeler. Reporting live from Kenner, Katie Moore, Channel 4 Eyewitness News. Eric?
And so, Katie, we saw all those boxes stacked up. Do we know if all those boxes contain some of this substance, and were the officers only affected when the boxes were finally opened?
When they were affected, apparently, according to the DEA and according to the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, is when they took one of the kilos that they found inside those boxes of limes inside headquarters in order to start those field tests. So it was an enclosed area that all of these officers were apparently in, and that's when they started experiencing these symptoms. Nausea is the one that we've heard of most so far as we've been on the scene. Again, one more person has been put into an ambulance here. Whether or not that he's experiencing similar symptoms, still unknown, but they did say something over the loudspeaker about dehydration. So that could just be another factor from the heat, not necessarily what's going on here today.
And so I'm assuming they still don't know just how many of those boxes may or may not contain this substance.
Absolutely. They started checking them, and that's when they found at least 1 kilo inside those boxes. And so I assume that once they figure out what the substance is and how they're going to be able to get that material out of there, that's when we're going to know exactly how much of the drugs was in there. You can only assume that it is quite a bit if they at least found 1 kilo that they began testing.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. We appreciate the fine reporting out there. Jill Hayes has been at East Jefferson Hospital, where the officers were taken this morning. She is joining us live with more on that. And do we know the condition of these officers right now?
Yes, we do. State Police just told us that 18 officers, not necessarily all affected by this substance, however, were transported to East Jefferson Hospital. They're not reporting any serious injuries at this time, and State Police say that they are doing well. Now, however, since then, East Jefferson's hospital emergency room has been closed to the public since then as a precaution before they get an all clear. It is going through a decontamination process. We've also seen hazmat crews here this morning with canines looking through vehicles. One of the crews pulled out a container, which then they secured it. We're not sure what was inside that container or where that vehicle came from. That was here at East Jefferson Hospital. We're still waiting to learn that information. But what we do know at this time is even though the emergency room hopes to get the all clear soon, at this time it is still closed.
To the people from East Jefferson Hospital, they're going to send out a news media release indicating that everyone not come to this hospital at this time until the area has been cleared. You may want to check with hospital personnel in regards to that matter, and they will be able to inform you.
However, officials want everyone to know if you did have a scheduled procedure or an appointment, you can still come to East Jefferson Hospital. Again, it's only the emergency room that is closed off to the public. They're asking you to go through to other emergency rooms in the area instead of East Jefferson Hospital at this time. As soon as we have more information on that, we'll bring it to you either within this broadcast or online at WWLTV.com. Jill Hayes reporting from Metairie, Channel 4 Eyewitness News.
And Jill, we have to assume this substance is being tested somewhere. Is it being tested there at East Jeff or still with the State Police, or do we know?
Well, as you heard from Katie, it seems like they are doing tests over at Troop B. We are not sure if they're conducting tests here at East Jefferson Hospital. The only thing that we saw at this time is they took out that container that you saw in that video. They did secure it, and they did have the canine dogs here. At this moment, it seems like they are tending more so to the officers that seem to be doing well, according to officials.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate the report.